Hi, my name is Lynette, and I am a certified professional resume writer here at the Career Center of the East Baton Rouge Parish Library. Today, I'd like to talk about how to write cold call and pain letters in your job search. So the obvious question is, what is that? A cold call letter is a specialized kind of cover letter. In a normal cover letter, the company has a job opening that they're advertising, and you write in response to that. A cold call letter is a little bit different. You're reaching out to the company asking for a job, but you're not responding to any specific job opening. You are, in fact, asking for a job that may not actually exist. You're asking them to create a role for you. Is this a good idea? Not always. I would definitely not recommend just blanketing companies willy-nilly with this sort of thing. But there are situations where it is a good idea. Such as, if you really, really want to work for this company, if this is your dream company. For example, if you are obsessed with Disney and know all of the movies and all of the songs and have been to the parks 18 times, and nothing on earth would please you more than to work as a Disney character, you can write them a cold call letter begging for a job, basically, and include your passion for the work and the skills that you have that you think would make you a good fit. Or if there's a company that has a lot of job postings, but they don't have quite the right job for you. They've got listing after listing, but nothing that's an exact fit for your skill set. This could be an indicator that the company is experiencing a period of growth. They're expanding. They're going to be doing a lot of hiring. So even if they don't have a job for you today, there's a good chance that they will have one in the near future. And you can get your foot in the door before that happens. If the company is a recruiting firm that specializes in your industry, not just a generic staffing agency, but one that specifically focuses on your field. For example, if you wrote a cold call letter to Alliance Healthcare staffing agency because you're a nurse, it makes sense. They may not have a nurse opening right now, but it's a very good bet they will have one soon. Or finally, if it's a company that you know a lot about, if you have insider knowledge. For example, I know someone whose entire extended family works at the BASF chemical plant. If this person wanted to get hired at BASF, he could ask his entire extended family for that insider knowledge. Okay, so who's the person that I need to talk to? And what is his personality like? What is he looking for? What would impress him? What sorts of skills should I play up on the cover letter? This insider knowledge can help you write a more tailored, more customized letter that will help you be given a shot when normally somebody wouldn't be given a shot. So all of these are times when it might be a good idea to write a cold call letter. Now, let's look at how to write one. We're going to look today at an example cold call cover letter written by Miss Sarah Fresneth. This letter is from the book Modernize Your Job Search Letters, which is a fantastic resource for anything related to cover letters, networking letters, thank you letters. Highly recommend. First, let's look at how to properly format your cold call letter. There are 7 sections to any cover letter. You want to begin with your heading. This is going to include your name, contact info, all of the heading like you have it on your resume. You want to have it the exact same on your cover letter. The date, the address of the person that you're sending it to, your salutation, dear Mr. or Ms. whoever, the body, the meat of your letter, your closing statement, and finally, your signature. Ms. Fresneth, we can see, does an excellent job of including all of these sections in her letter. She begins with her name and heading, the date, the address, dear Mr. Nez, the body of her message, and finally, sincerely, Sarah Fresneth. You want to make sure that your letter is easy to read and doesn't look like a giant crammed together wall of text. So you're going to skip a line between each of these sections and after each paragraph of the body of your letter. At the bottom, you want to skip 2 or 3 lines so that you can write in your signature. All of this sounds very formal and is very appropriate for a written letter that you present in person, because that's a very formal situation. If you're sending your cover letter by email, though, that's less formal. For an emailed cold call letter, get rid of the heading, the date, the address. You don't need to include that stuff in there. You're just going to type them a simple email message, "Dear Mr. or Ms. Whoever," body of your message, your closing, and your signature. Your signature should also include your phone number, your email address, and your LinkedIn profile to make it easy for them to get in contact with you. And you want to make sure that you attach your resume to this email. Next, let's look at the wow factor. What can you do to make a cold call letter that's really fantastic, that's going to get them to consider bringing you in for an interview, even if they don't have a job opening? How can you do this? Let's take a look at some of the things you want to keep in mind. You want to make sure that your letter grabs their attention and makes an instant connection with them. Remember, they don't have a job opening. You have to convince them to give you a chance anyway. So you want to make sure that your letter starts off very strong and hooks their attention. We can see that Ms. Fresneth does an excellent job of this. Her first statement is, "I was reading about Dunlop's international expansion objectives in the Anchorage Business Courier." She begins her letter by saying, "Hey, I read about your company in this magazine. You guys are doing impressive stuff. Good for you." Anybody would like to read more about somebody bragging about them, so the hiring manager is going to keep reading the rest of the letter. Very good start. You want to make sure that your letter focuses on your special, relevant skills and expertise. This is crucial. You're applying for a job that doesn't exist. You're asking them to make room for you. For them to do that, you're going to need to sell the skills and qualifications that you have that they could use. Ms. Fresneth does an excellent job of this. She talks about how she supervised production and manufacturing operations. She talks about how she reduced waste. She increased efficiency by 200% in record time. These are the kind of things that Dunlop, which is a shipping company, is going to be very interested in. They want somebody who has production and manufacturing experience. They want somebody who can reduce waste and increase efficiency, make everything run better, faster, cheaper. Yes! Any shipping company would be looking for these skills. So she really does an excellent job of customizing it to her audience. You want your letter to establish your personal brand. Your personal brand is quite simply who you are, what you can do, what you have to offer. This is something that you want them to be able to see fairly quickly in your letter. Ms. Fresneth does an excellent job of this with the heading at the top of her letter. She talks about being in process development, project management, and large-scale project planning. Already you have an idea of who she is, what her skill set is, and what she can do. Even without reading the content of the letter, someone who's looking for these skills is already going to be drawn in. You want to emphasize your passion for this industry or company. This is an aspect of writing a cover letter or cold call letter that a lot of people forget. But it's so important, especially when you're trying to convince the company to make room for you, even if they don't have a job opening listed already. You want them to know that this is something that's special to you, something that matters to you. Talk about how much you love this industry, how much you love this company. For example, if you're applying for your absolute dream job at a company you've always wanted to work for, say that. If you're applying for a company that you have insider knowledge of, you could say something like, "Well, all of my family works at such and such company, and they talk about what a good employer they are, how they're considerate of their employees," that sort of thing. Suck up to them a little bit. I cannot overstate the importance of kissing up to people during the job search. Very important. You want to add a personal touch to the letter if possible. This is kind of an extension of the previous point, establishing your passion for the industry or the company. If you can talk about a personal reason that this means something to you, that's really going to draw in their eye. You want to end your letter with a call to action. Let them know what the next step in the process is. Let them know what you're expecting. Ms. Fresneth ends her letter by saying, "When we meet, I plan to outline the immediate value that I can bring." I like that. When we meet, not if you call me. When we meet. Very assertive. Finally, wherever possible, you want your letter to speak to the company's pain and how you can solve it. What I mean by that is the best way to get your foot in the door with a company that's not technically looking for anyone is by identifying that the company has issues that you could solve. Wherever possible, you want your cold call letter to be a pain letter. What is a pain letter? Here is a pain letter. This template comes from an article in Forbes magazine by Liz Ryan, who is a fantastic career coach. And this article is entitled, "How to Use Pain Letters in Your Job Search." Let's take a closer look. The letter begins with the hook. This is how you hook them in, make an instant connection and get their attention. Our example says, "Dear Arnie, I was happy to see that Angry Chocolates was voted one of Fayetteville's most up-and-coming companies. Hats off to you and your team." Begins with flattery, begins by talking about the company and the successful things they've done. Everyone loves to be flattered. Then you go into your pain hypothesis. You have a hypothesis, a theory, that the company has some sort of pain. Talk about this. I can only imagine that given your 30% annual growth rate, your distributor clients must require more and more sophisticated levels of support all the time. Well, yes, if the company grows 30% every year, of course they're having pain. They need people, they need qualified employees, their clients need more support. This is the pain hypothesis. Then, your pain letter wants to launch into your dragon-slaying story. What this is you tell a story of a time that you have slain this dragon already. You solved a similar problem at some previous point in your career and would be more than happy to solve the same problem for this company. Our pain letter here tells an extended story of when I worked at Underwater Sleepwear and our growth rate was 25% per year, we had a similar challenge. Here's how I solved that challenge, and goes into the details of the things that this job seeker did that met the challenge, solved the problem, and ends by saying, "We didn't lose a single customer and every one of our end clients increased their year-over-year sales." Excellent! Yes, your dragon slaying story needs a happy ending. The dragon must be dead at the end of it. Finally, you want to close out your letter including the call to action. If large account support is high on your radar screen, I'd be happy to chat by phone or start an email conversation. Call me, email me, talk to me, hire me. And if you write an excellent pain letter, they will. So this concludes today's seminar. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see more content from us like this, please hit subscribe. And if you have any questions or want further assistance with the things we talked about today, don't hesitate to give us a call at the Career Center or come by in person at the main library on Goodwood. Thank you.